public art is the most accessible form. So what happens when like your body is actually welcomed into the piece? It's showing that all of us are important regardless of where you're at in the world. I would love for more artwork to be that way, to be for the people. My name is Roberto Lugo. I am a potter, poet, and artist from Philadelphia. Today, we are at Madison Square Park with my installation called Alfarero del Barrio. The name of the piece behind me is Capicu de Cariño. Cariño is this word that we say in Spanish, doesn't quite translate. You know, it's like this care and kindness and softness and love that has so many different meanings all wrapped into one. And to me, that's the definition of being Puerto Rican. It's like how you have to operate and coexist in all these different complicated ways and somehow make it all work within a word. In Hungary, there's a factory called the Heron Porcelain Factory, which made Queen Victoria's dishes. So they have a pattern called the Queen Victoria pattern. So I wanted to like claim ownership over this thing that historically was made during a time where porcelain was considered more expensive than gold. And most people will just recognize Bad Bunny on it, right? And then if they look at it more closely, they will notice people that they don't recognize on it. Roberto Clemente, probably revered as one of the best baseball players of all time, came from really humble means and faced immense racism during his time playing baseball. And he died trying to provide humanitarian aid back to the community that raised him. Justice Sotomayor, like the highest court in the country, right? Advocating for things that would make my life as a Puerto Rican a lot easier. And there was this poet on there named Lemon Anderson. He was really inspiring, and he did this poem with another poet about being Puerto Rican, and it was both funny and humorous, and he would talk about feeling like not belonging and all these things that made me feel seen on HBO. My father would never see himself as an artist. He grew up fixing houses his whole life. I was making these Japanese tea boxes called timboku, and my dad came over and made it in 5 minutes, you know? And it's like flipping the script on this idea that like the things that we're doing on a daily basis aren't art. So all these people on this work, I think, represent all these different formats of contribution. I always grew up with fire hydrants being orange. So when I went to like paint this thing, they were like, what color do you want it? And I was like, orange? And they're like, well, not all fire hydrants are orange. And I was like, really? I just assumed that it was the same for everybody, right? And so it's just another example of like where we grew up becomes part of our visual vocabulary and the norm. Like as a person of color, I've experienced a fire hydrant in a very different way than a white kid from the suburbs, you know? But we both know that thing, right? And so it changes meaning depending on like where you're at in life or where you want it to be. Like for a lot of people, like playing around with the trope of the dog peeing on the fire hydrant. For me, it's playing in the summertime as a kid in the fire hydrant. For firefighters, it's a symbol of their job, right? For some people, it's a symbol of impending doom, right? This emergency thing that you tap into. So it just like changes and shifts. I wanted something that I felt like represented the American experience in that like we all look at the world in very different ways. Like whether you're white and wealthy and come from the suburbs or whether you're a poor kid from the neighborhood that I'm from, like everybody has space in here and can document themselves in the work. The more personal story you tell, the more universal it becomes.